My brothers and sisters, have you ever heard of Dandadan? Yes, you got that right, my brothers and sisters. This is Enemy Stand User, and we are exploring new mixed content. And first up on the radar is Yukinobu Tatsu's Dandadan. Hands down, one of the best pieces of modern shonen out right now. And with the anime recently airing, there is a lot of buzz about this new series. And also a ton to be excited about because Dandadan is unbelievably awesome. When I got into Dandadan, one of my friends recommended it to me since I like things like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Sakamoto Days, and the like. But I distinctly remember the first couple of chapters that I read, and it was weird. But what appeared not to hold my interest at first actually turned out to be something that I would absolutely come to love. After the first Turbo Granny arc, I just read and read and read and read some more, read it over again, read it 3 times. And I realized, you know what? This manga is actually cooking. Each arc captivating more of my attention because this world of Dandadan is very interesting. Yukinobu mixes supernatural anomalies like aliens and cryptids and fairy tales with spiritual anomalies like curses and yokai, and created a world of infinite possibilities. This series is littered with fan service and multiple pop culture references that it is just unbelievable. And it's very clear that Yukinobu really wants to grab your attention, no matter how weird that it gets. And trust me, this manga gets pretty damn weird. However, while I could go on and on about all the craziness in Dandadan, today specifically, I wanted to focus on how Yukinobu Tatsu just unironically made one of the most endearing love stories in a chaotic battle manga. Dandadan is a tried and true shonen battle manga, yet there is a constant and a powerful theme of love and romance. And that of course is shown through the story's 2 main characters, Ken Takakura and Momo Ayase. They truly make Dandadan the way that it is with their relationship. So as you, the reader, go throughout the series, I think their relationship and connection is such a major factor for the reader to enjoy. Like, you have to invest and care about what Momo and Okarun have. Yukinobu is just outright telling you to ship them and keep it that way. So throughout the series so far, he creates romantic tension between them, he shakes up the relationship, he introduces new characters which create love triangles, love rectangles, trapezoids, all sorts of mess. But he does all of that on purpose because we all know damn well Momo and Okarun have their own thing. So this may quite possibly be one of the weirdest, most unique love stories in modern shonen. And that says a lot considering a series like Fujimoto's Chainsaw Man exists. Like, what category does this even fall under? One minute, it's a nice little slice of life romance adventure. But the next minute, it's alien invasion poltergeist war. Like, is that a fucking xenomorph? And you know, in fact, the actual main plot of this manga is just batshit insane, because nearly the whole story revolves around finding Okarun's golden balls wrapped in powerful spiritual energy. Like, literal wars were fought over his junk. It's crazy. Alright, but given all of that, let's actually explain Momo and Okarun's characters and their own love story throughout the series to give you all an idea about what this manga is all about. And if you haven't already, Enemy Stand User is about to put you brothers and sisters on this Dandadan masterclass. In the very first chapter, Momo Ayase, aka God's yoinkiest splinker, she's pretty mad after a breakup with a trashy guy. In fact, Momo herself seems kinda difficult. Momo has her niche of friends. She's stuck up, stubborn as all hell, and hot-headed. But she also had a very quirky nature because of all that. She likes the type of guys like Ken Takakura, a famous movie star who plays a lot of tough guy roles in Japan. And Momo loves that kind of guy. So suddenly, Momo notices Okarun, who at this point can only be described as an absolute nerd. Okarun is a quiet, withdrawn, scrawny, shy guy. He's a nobody. And I like how Yukinobu made him because, you know, maybe some of you fellas can relate. I know I can't. Point being, Okarun is a withdrawn weirdo who has a closed shell and he is getting picked on. Momo notices that and decides to take initiative and act all familiar with him, which makes a loser like Okarun seem like a girl is into him, let alone a girl like Momo. This moment is actually a very big deal for Okarun because for the first time in his life, he actually feels seen, especially by a cute girl like Momo, even though she only did it for show at the time. But this gives Okarun the confidence to talk to her, and my goodness, Okarun, he completely yaps on and on about his obsession of anomalies and space aliens, which isn't particularly Momo's thing and is kind of a turnoff for her right now, so she snaps back at him. I like that even though she puts herself above Okarun in her social status and kind of puts him down, Momo quickly apologizes and at least tries to be civil, as she says she believes in spirits. This of course leads to their debate on whether spirits or aliens really exist. This is the first time they argue, and it's their back and forth throughout their relationship in the series that is so special. These two are kind of crazy in a good way. Both of them look down on each other's beliefs, so they make a challenge to visit alien and spirit locations to prove once and for all that their side exists. Well, surprise, surprise, they exist, and Okarun gets a face full of Turbo Granny Freak Fest. Meanwhile, Momo meets the Serpo aliens, aka Diddy's strongest soldiers, as they proceed to kidnap her and prepare a freak-off gangbang to further evolve their species. Yeah, Yukinobu was wild for this, and for the first chapter no less. Though Okarun swoops in to save the day as he is now cursed by Turbo Granny and goes crazy fighting the Serpo in the weirdest way possible. And in the heat of battle, Momo awakens her psychic powers and kicks alien butt. Both Okarun and Momo escape the clutches of the aliens, but now they have a new problem as Turbo Granny's freaky ass boldly and proudly proclaims that she has stolen Okarun's weenie and his family jewels. And if he wants them back, then they gotta challenge her back at the spirit tunnel. And finally, Momo low-key falls in love for Okarun because his real legal name is just her type, Ken Takakura. This introduction was insanity. Somehow everyone got stripped naked, exposed, violated, abducted, and cursed. And you know what? It's goddamn glorious. And what you will notice about this series is how each progressive story arc gets more and more wild, more and more out of pocket. Yukinobu could for real make a whole chapter about how our gang is going to some damn back rooms, and it would be completely in line with how this story goes. There is such an insane amount of references and Easter eggs in this series that it is just one of a kind. No one is quite doing it like Dandadan. I'm not someone who is particularly interested in romance manga. I've read some, but it's not really my thing. Though Yukinobu is someone who thoroughly did research on romance before he made Dandadan, and as he read and went through some of the most compelling works of romance manga, he got a good idea of what he wanted. And I think Yukinobu's take on romance is such a breath of fresh air, because I'ma be real frank here, unless your name is Fujimoto, shonen and romance don't exactly fit right. Especially when there is an established love interest so early on in the story, it can be a infuriating thing, almost like a distraction. If a girl is falling for the MC, they shouldn't be like an afterthought or fall head over heels to be subjugated by the MC's presence. However, that relationship should develop naturally, though it doesn't always work in battle shonen, which is why so many authors deny even the idea of it and treat it as a minor thing or a small subplot. Though Dandadan is surrounded by that romantic theme intertwined within the story and the plot, despite being a battle shonen, and both Okarun and Momo are the main characters, so Momo gets just as much growth, strength, and characterization as Okarun and vice versa. Momo is a straight badass. She herself is a powerful, psychic, kick-ass girl. Personally, she is my favorite character, and at the same time, Momo is also really girly. She cares about her self-image, she wants to feel cute and to be herself, which is really cool that Yukinobu writes her that way as a MC. It lets the reader resonate with her more, especially because she has so much screen time within the series, so we see her at her best when she's sad, when she's mad, and everything in between. Okarun, on the other hand, is the polar opposite. He naturally is kind of withdrawn and didn't have any friends before, yet when he met Momo, his entire world changed. He was an alien-obsessed weirdo. Now, he's an alien-obsessed weirdo with a girlfriend. Momo made Okarun want to improve himself. Okarun wants to be a man and stick his chest out and to be strong. I mean, he is quite an awkward fellow after all. And that phrase is basically Momo's trigger that drives her crazy, because everything about Okarun's behavior is just her type, down to even Okarun's real name. And I think even Momo just cannot believe herself that this little nerdy twerp is the one that is just her type. And every time she thinks about that, her heart skips a beat. Okarun wants Momo's attention. He wants her to be attracted to him because he finds her attractive. So he has to get out of his own comfort zone and put himself out there. And that boy will do anything for Momo's sake. And something else that I find super interesting about the series is how most of the main cast, as they join in throughout the story and the arcs, at some point or another serve like as a romantic rival to either Momo or Okarun. It's honestly one of the most nerve-wracking and exciting aspects about our characters, because Yukinobu knows damn well he's playing with everyone's feelings. From introducing Aira, she immediately clashes with Momo on the regular. Like, that shit is like how Sakura and Ino bicker back and forth like angry cats. And Aira has a clear crush on Okarun that Momo constantly berates her about, because Momo herself isn't quite as open or as brash about her feelings as Aira is. Which is interesting because this is one of the first times we see Momo show pangs of jealousy, as she doesn't quite like how Aira always tries to steal Okarun from her. But then we got the big dog himself, Gigi Inoji. And man, I hate this nigga. Nah, for real. Gigi is cool, but a reason why some were irritated around his introduction is because Gigi is so incredibly close as like an old family friend. It's like you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Okarun pulls a 10 out of 10 like Momo, and in the first half of the story, Gigi puts in like the weirdest twist in their relationship. And even later in the story, bro is still trying to score points. For the longest time, Gigi was like the #1 op for the Okarun x Momo ship. And it's no wonder why Evil Eye versus Okarun was incredibly hype. The beef between them is palpable. Yet Gigi's story is very endearing, and Gigi is truly a good friend to both Momo and Okarun. He actually kind of pushes Okarun to stop holding back his love and get Momo to notice him, and for Okarun to want to protect Momo simply because of that competitive spirit and the danger of Evil Eye. Then we got Kinta. Kinta's a gooner. Finally though, we have the last member of our group, Vomola, and she is also someone who sparked jealousy in Momo when she kissed Okarun on purpose. However, Vomola's story as a Samurian runs deep, and her convictions for liking Okarun was complicated, which Momo only understood till she got to know her and cherish her as a friend. However, despite all of the weirdness and despite the craziness and the sad backstories and the insanity of all of them, they all come together as powerful friends, and it is just a vibe. 3 boys, 3 girls, that is our Scooby gang. This is Team Dandadan. And in one way or another, all of them complement Momo and Okarun's relationship when it comes to making it interesting. Through all the weirdness, their love endures, and there really is something kind of special about that. But brothers and sisters, something just that much more amazing about Dandadan even lies in its aesthetic, cause these characters are just fucking drippy. Y'all, these characters are dripped out of their damn minds. Yukinobu almost never leaves them in just one outfit. Certain character art and character designs are simply just cold as hell, and it radiates that aesthetic, especially in all the amazing panels and double spreads that he makes. You can just look at them. Okarun turns into one of the toughest yokai designs in the story, looking like a icy vampire. Evil Eye gives me Sukuna vibes and radiates infinite aura in freaking tidy whities. Even Kinta, the goddamn gooner Kim Jong-un built like a Discord mod, sometimes bro got that shit on for real. And of course, Aira and Gigi always dress to impress. They seem like models in a way. Then there's Momo, and I actually think she might be the cleanest character in the manga. And bear with me, y'all, because we have to glaze the fit. Even her base outfit, she got on the dress shirt, the peach cardigan, the red bow tie, the navy blue miniskirt, the socks, and the loafers. Nah, y'all, she is cooking. And in her other outfits, she got on the black choker, the tapered red coat with the fox fur, a fitted white cotton dress with the red trim, black high stockings. And are those the retro bread ones?
Oh my god!
And the 12s? And the Air Jordan 6s? Boy, he got that shit on though. Yo, for real, the drip is immaculate. She literally changed mid-Turbo Granny arc just to be clean. Honestly, everybody in the main cast is fire. However, good lord, forgive me, Seiko Ayase, this beautiful, magnificent, I mean character, just hear me out. No, really, Seiko is awesome. She is hot as hell, bad as hell, and strong as hell. Basically everything that you want in a shonen woman. But she really is a solid mediator, mentor, and all-around teacher to Momo and everyone else throughout this crazy, insane, supernatural world. It doesn't matter if there was an alien invasion or a cursed board game catastrophe, she taking everybody to the cookout after. And at the end of the day, she is the one that's looking out for her beloved granddaughter, Momo. And she honestly seems like a really solid anchor for Team Dandadan, since she is one of the strongest characters, but also one of the most knowledgeable when it comes to the world of paranormal. Though, brothers and sisters, now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of Okarun and Momo's romance. And to me, it's something that truly makes Dandadan worth the read. Momo and Okarun are like fire and water. They are completely different individuals, but it's like they say, opposites attract. Momo probably never ever imagined someone like herself would fall for Okarun, but as she kept spending time with him and risking their lives for each other, Okarun started to check all the right boxes for her. And nearly every chapter now, she finds her heart fluttering every time she thinks about him. Every touch that they make, every subtle little moment alone that they share, their sweet little nothing conversations. Momo knows she clearly is attracted to Okarun, and she does give him signals. Throughout most of the first half of the story, Okarun is just frankly selling. If Momo wasn't so infatuated with him, I swear bro would have fumbled 10 times over. Yet for most of the story, they both keep holding back a little bit from taking their relationship to the next level, which that itself isn't the best, but story-wise, it was actually pretty good for the overall series and kind of lets their romance build everything up. There are particular subtle moments where Momo really leans hard onto Okarun, giving him strong hints, like when they sit in the car and her hand slowly dances across his fingers, when Momo keeps telling Okarun to say, "See you tomorrow," the way she kept teasing him about the love note that he saw, like she wants bro bad, and it shows. Even though they haven't truly confessed yet, their relationship is wholesome, and I like how these two don't fawn over one another in a practical sense like maybe a lot of other shonens might show or do. They actually talk to each other about misunderstandings, and it's done in a very normal way. Like they truly want to understand each other's feelings and to clear the air if there's any mix-ups, which is really just human. They can be open with one another, like no running gags or jokes, like nah, they can be 100% real with each other, and for me that is something that I really like to see. Their connection is very natural and it just makes sense. It makes all these small moments that much more impactful. In fact, there is a specific chapter in chapter 78 called A Pulse Pounding Night. And this chapter is very special because Momo is being haunted by the strongest yokai in the series, Reiko Kashima. And remember her because Reiko has a deeper impact on Momo later on. But Reiko has the power to use her mirror to see into people's hearts and desire. And since she's haunting Momo, she tries to use Momo's desire to draw her out. And that night, Seiko forbids Momo from even leaving her room because of that curse. However, Reiko imitates Okarun and tells Momo every little thing that she wants to hear. This fake Okarun tells Momo that he's here out of love and wants to confess his love to her face to face. And Momo is simply so infatuated and in love with Okurun that she is just ready to risk everything to see him. In fact, she actually took initiative and wanted to see him right now. And she's just about as giddy as a teenage girl could be in her blue spring of youth. It's low-key wholesome to see Momo so flustered when wanting to see Okurun. However, just before she risked it all, she realized it wasn't actually him. See, that type of scene is just pure cinema to me because it reflects how Momo truly feels. Being with Okurun is her burning desire. That is what she wants the most in this world. And I kid you not, all those moments culminating together and leading to their true feelings is astonishing. That stuff even got me kicking my feet and pulling at my heart because Yukinobu portrays Momo in an especially brilliant light. And most guys can probably resonate with Okurun. When you find a baddie, you never want to fumble that, and you always want to seem cool and competent, always improving and getting stronger as to be a person worthy to be with them, someone strong enough to protect them. And that is essentially Okurun's ideals as a man. He may not look like it, but Okurun truly turned into the Ken Takakura that Momo wants. I'd say he turned out even better because there is nothing, albeit rivals, ghosts, aliens, or any other challenge in this universe that will keep him from loving Momo Ayase. But remember that yokai spirit Reiko Kashima. When Yukinobu introduced her and proclaimed her as the strongest yokai, it seems strange. However, her very simple story has an incredibly deep meaning, both in her cursing the world and in her love. And Reiko was kind of the first person to see into Momo's heart and truly know what she wants. You see, when Reiko was a human, she was also in love. In fact, she was much like how Momo and Okurun were, and that's one of the reasons why Reiko helped stop the alien invasion. But what's sad is that her life and her love were stripped away from her because of humanity's evil and the US air raids on Japan and Tokyo. So that was the harsh reality of her world, driving her as a cursed yokai. So now when Reiko looks at Momo, she doesn't want her to waste her time dawdling around with Okurun. She says to be more honest and forthright. Momo found a good person in Okurun and shouldn't waste this opportunity in her life. And that simple piece of advice, I low-key think that stirred Momo up. From that point on, before they really confessed, Momo clearly pressured Okurun harder and came on to him more and more until it became so much more obvious. Finally, at this point in the story, at the end of the Danmarna arc, Okurun actually built up the courage and confessed to Momo. In the heat of this conflict, Okurun never wants to let go of her, and that was a genuine confession of love. And this brings us to a point where their feelings are undeniably out in the open. And for a romance manga, sometimes that revelation or confession only comes out at the end. But Dandadan is still ongoing. There is still a whole universe of things to do and possibilities to explore, and I am happy to say that the same applies for Momo and Okurun's love story. Yukinobu has actually managed to tease their relationship even more because Momo decided that that confession simply won't do. She wants Okurun to confess his love properly. And so now we are stalling a bit. Momo's current condition is difficult. She turned tiny. But even now, she only wants Okurun to confess until she's properly normal again, which at the time of making this video, it's still ongoing. However, while Momo does wait on that true love confession, she tells Okurun not to cheat. So in her own Momo way, she claims Okurun, and we all know that their time will come. So especially for a battle shonen, it's rare for such powerful love interests to let their feelings out in the middle of the story. And it's not a gag or a joke, it's a genuine confession that can change their relationship for the better. And I think Yukinobu can do that well because of all the focus that he specifically gives both Momo and Okurun, mixing with this supernatural world that surrounds them. So even if they do eventually go steady, it would just set up higher stakes and make both of them stronger in their own ways rather than being a distraction, so to speak. A large aspect of Dandadan is that romance, and you can definitely expect Yukinobu to elevate their relationship just as well as he elevates the action and the stakes in all of this chaos. This is Dandadan. I guess what I'm trying to say in all this is how love came from unexpected places. Very weird, very freaky, and very crazy places. However, Momo and Okurun found it. It's not the most perfect thing ever. They fight, they butt heads, they go through a roller coaster of emotions and feelings, but that's the point. This story is already amazing enough. The characters are all incredibly loud and unique. The art is insane. The backstories break your heart over and over and over and pull at your heartstrings. And the lore and references are quite literally out of this world. Nobody is doing it quite like Dandadan is doing it. And I'm excited as I dive more into this amazing series with you brothers and sisters. But with that being said, tell me what you guys like about Dandadan, or maybe even dislike. However, I will see you awesome brothers and sisters in the next one. Bye-bye.